Gavin Newsom may have nuked his presidential ambitions with a single photo. And the most ironic thing in all of this is he was talking about how Democrats have to be more normal in order to win presidential elections. Take a look at this.
Look, we could talk about why Kamala lost, which is separate. I mean, it's part derivative of the larger narrative, but issues around inflation scars. We don't talk enough about interest rates. We didn't talk about incumbency, issues related, you said, beyond related to Israeli politics, immigration, the border in particular. You could talk about all those things, not just 107 days, not just talk about Biden's determination or lack thereof in terms of passing the baton. But I think there's a broader narrative that we have to address. That is, we have to be more culturally normal. We have to be a little less judgmental. We have to be a party that understands the importance and power of the border, substantively and politically.
Okay, so he's talking about how the Democrat Party has to be less judgmental, how the Democrat Party has to be more culturally normal as he's sitting like this. Now, look, there is nothing wrong with crossing your legs, but he's not just crossing his legs here. It would be one thing if his left leg was just coming straight down, right? But it looks like he's trying to become a singular version, a real-life version of the nutcracker for the Christmas season. Like, does that not hurt? I feel like it, just looking at it, it hurts. Now, it would be one thing if he just stopped there, right? But he didn't. So his pose made waves on social media. As you can imagine, it turned into a whole bunch of memes, people just making fun of this. And instead of just ignoring this, Gavin Newsom and his public relations team, they decided to double down. So this is what his press office posted on X. Democracy requires flexibility. And as you can see, they made his pose look even more ridiculous. I don't even know what you would call that. And just to be clear, it's not as if this is some intern in the back office who posted on the social media account without any information. The reason we know this is because Gavin Newsom himself reposted that post. All caps, wow. So very clearly, Gavin Newsom approved this post. Talk about a total lack of judgment. And I get, we live in a world where memes tend to spread faster than actual news. So, maybe he's trying to be culturally relevant or culturally normal by being self-deprecating on social media, but it's already backfired. Just take a look at the various memes that are already floating around online. So you have Gavin Newsom, who, yes, is obviously being self-deprecating, but it's more like a self-own. Compare that to what J.D. Vance posted on Halloween, right? J.D. Vance totally owned the memes around his face, the memes around his hair, and to me, this is more culturally normal.
Happy Halloween, kids, and remember, say thank you.
Yeah, so this is how you do a meme properly, Gavin Newsom. This is how you stay culturally relevant, not whatever it is you're doing with that inappropriate yoga pose. Now, obviously, his presidential ambitions are going to be crushed by more than just a photo. It would be one thing if he actually had good results in California, but that is not the case. Even on The View, they're talking about how Gavin Newsom's record in the state is just going to drag him down and is not going to help him on a national platform. Take a look at this.
Well, Gavin Newsom knows he's got a problem when even on The View, the ladies are saying, yeah, California's a tough sell. I mean, that's an understatement. I mean, you can add to the list of Stephen A's, that Stephen A laid out there on the crime and the homelessness, the cost of living. We're 50th out of 50 states on affordability. But shamefully, we are number one state, the top state, highest rate of poverty in America, highest rate of unemployment in America. For the last 10 years, Chief Executive Magazine runs a survey of the best and worst states to do business in. California, bottom of the list every year for the last 10 years.
And it's not just what they said on The View. In fact, Hollywood is turning against Gavin Newsom. And if you think about that, that really is a stark difference, because usually the Democrats, they have the backing of the entirety of the mainstream media. They have the backing of academia and the backing of pop culture, celebrities in Hollywood. But at the same place where Gavin Newsom was sitting cross-legged, Halle Berry was there. She actually just totally laid into him and wrecked him, and that really was a shock to people in attendance. In fact, if you pay attention to the crowd, you can hear them groaning, and everyone was shocked. They weren't expecting Halle Berry to come out against Gavin Newsom. You combine all of this together, and it's just not looking good for him at all.
But the opposite of that, back in my great state of California, my very own governor, Gavin Newsom, has vetoed our menopause bill, not 1, but 2 years in a row. But that's okay, because he's not going to be governor forever. And with the way he's overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife, he probably should not be our next president either. Just saying. I need every woman in this country to fight with me. But the truth is, the fight isn't just for us women. We need men too. We need all of the leaders, every single one of you in this room. This fight needs you.
Obviously, that does not mean that Halle Berry or the rest of the Hollywood elite are going to vote for the Republican. But hey, if Gavin Newsom ends up being the Democrat nominee and they're not fired up about him, that means they're probably going to donate less than they would have if they even donate at all. They're not going to endorse him or do any of the things that they usually would do for a Democrat candidate. So here you can already see the cracks appearing in their coalition, the divisions spreading deeper than just surface level. I mean, that right there, to say this, years before the presidential election begins in earnest is just absolutely bad news for Gavin Newsom. But at the end of the day, look, we can make fun of these memes. We can make fun of how culturally irrelevant and culturally out of touch he is. But at the end of the day, his record is going to be what probably speaks the loudest. And you just take a look at everything. You take a look at the economy, education scores, homelessness, poverty, cost of living, prices, energy. It's just not a good look for him. But probably the best example, and I hate to use the word best, because really it's a tragedy. So it's probably the worst example, best example. You know what I'm saying, is the reconstruction efforts after the Palisades fires. And it's actually even worse than what we originally thought. But before we get into that, I would like to thank the members of today's Governors Club. They are Sherry Miller, Jenda Manuro, Icy Happiness, Gun Kelly, Bama Riddenauer, and Jeremy 2001 Happy. These are people who give super thanks and tips to the channel. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that you enjoy. Well, rebuilding has been really slow ever since the Palisades fire, and instead of taking accountability, or instead of actually taking action to help expedite the process, Gavin Newsom is, surprise, surprise, blaming President Trump.
We had a number of meetings with bipartisan meetings, Republican, Democratic Senate leaders, talking about disaster recovery, not only for the people that have been torn asunder in Southern California, particularly in Los Angeles, a $33.9 billion request that we have into the administration, but the support for each other all across the United States, from North Carolina to the floods and the disaster that unfolded a number of months ago in Texas. And so that's the spirit in which we're back out here making the request anew for support, and we're asking the folks in the Senate, in particular the House of Representatives, to have our backs, to have the American people's back.
Now, there are two things here. Number one, the state of California, let alone the residents, don't necessarily need the assistance of the federal government to rebuild. Whether it's insurance or the state budget, they can definitely do things. Now, don't get me wrong. Help and assistance from the federal government would be welcome in any natural disaster, right? You see that all the time in fires and hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes. And so I'm not discounting that, but it's not the fault of the federal government. It's actually, this leads to point number two, the fault of Gavin Newsom and the fault of all the restrictions in the state of California. So according to Realtor.com exclusive, Malibu has lost nearly 600 homes to fires this year, and only 17 building permits have been approved for construction. And it's just not Malibu. You take a look at the entire area affected, and the picture is even worse when you take a look at the whole, bird's eye view. So Gavin Newsom can blame the federal government. Gavin Newsom can blame President Trump all he wants. But even if the federal government approved all of that assistance, they have nothing to do with the permits. They have nothing to do with all the restrictions that you actually have on the ground that's preventing the rebuilding from happening. And if I had to guess, if I were a betting person, I would guess that that's probably why the federal government is holding this up, because they're saying, well, you can't build anyways. These permits are restricting things. Why would we shovel money that way, which would only increase the risk of fraud or, just under table deals that siphons money away from taxpayers. Now, it's not just Realtor.com. The paid version, the pro version of Politico wrote, "What is the first house rebuilt after the wildfires in Los Angeles? It's complicated." Furor erupted when Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass celebrated a home owned by a home builder company, not a homeowner, as the first to be completed. So again, the people in the Palisades area are the ones hurting. They're not actually rebuilding, but it's the elites, it's the ones with connections to all the power players. What a shame. And however you slice it, however you dice it, Gavin Newsom will not be president in 2028, whether it's his record or whether it's because of these terrible memes that he's posting on social media. His presidential ambitions, well, they may have ended before they even began. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. This is what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So obviously, I don't think Gavin Newsom has a chance at all to be the next Democrat nominee to be president of the United States. And so I'd love to hear from you. Who do you think the 2028 Democrat nominee will be? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Mine is a little crazy, so I'm not going to share it just yet, but it is definitely not Gavin Newsom. If you haven't already, please be sure to leave me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.